try the second movement at the next rehearsal, okay?
Should all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should all acquaintance be forgot on days of old lang syne? Happy New Year! Should all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should all acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? In days of old lang syne, my love. In days of old lang syne. Should all acquaintance be forgot on days of old lang syne? Should all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should all acquaintance be forgot on days of old lang syne? In days of old lang syne, my love. In days of old lang syne. Should all acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? Hey, get it. Hey, ha-ha. Dang, dang, ding, dang, ding. Whoa, whoa, ding, dang, dang, ding. Ding, dang, ding, dang, dang, ding. Dang, ding, dang, dang. In days of old lang syne, my love. In days of old lang syne. Should all acquaintance be forgot in days of old lang syne? Should all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should all acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? In days of old lang syne, my love. In days of old lang syne. Should all acquaintance be forgot in days of old lang syne? Should all acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? Sing the song. Should all acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? Whoa, should all acquaintance be forgot in days of old lang syne? Should all acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? Should all acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? Get that. Hey, should all silver bells, it's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling,
Ring-a-ling,
hear them ring.
ting-a-ling.
Confirmation of minutes. Minutes are deferred.
Messages from the Governor General.
There are no messages from the Governor General.
Announcements by the Speaker.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon to everyone here in the gallery and to all those joining on national television and online. A pleasant good afternoon from the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association. Today I serve as Speaker of the National Youth Parliament Association, and it's a real honor to open our first external sit-in for the year. Earlier, we had our internal Youth Parliament sit-in, where members got the chance to learn the procedures, sharpen their arguments, and build the confidence needed for moments like this. Today is where that training becomes action. Youth Parliament has always held an important place in our national landscape. It's a space where young people get to practice leadership before they are called to live it. It's where we test ideas, challenge the status quo, and learn how policies actually affect people's lives. And honestly, many of us, this is the room where we first feel like our voices truly matter. The resolution we are debating today didn't come from a textbook or a template. It came from what we see and experience every day as young people in this country. We see the need for financial literacy. We see the skills gap. We see our friends leaving the region in search of better opportunities. We see the rising cost of everything. We see climate pressure on our small islands. And we also see the vision set out in the Sustainable Island State Agenda, a vision that needs young minds, young ideas, and young leadership to move it forward. That's why we developed this resolution calling for innovative policies to strengthen the development of St. Kitts and Nevis. It covers financial education, talent retention, stronger technical training, digital innovation, resilient infrastructure, and the blue economy. Not because it sounds good, but because these are the things that will determine the country we inherit, and eventually the kind we pass on. One of my favorite lines is from Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done. As youth, we sometimes hear what can't happen. But today proves we are not here just to take notes. We're here to contribute to the national conversation. And if I can give one analogy, a country is like a relay team. Every generation gets the baton for a moment. You don't have to run the whole race, but you must run your leg well. This youth parliament, SKNIS, represents young people saying, we're ready to run our part. To our members, both government and opposite, speak boldly and respectfully. Bring your research, bring your perspective, and bring your passion. The entire federation is watching, including young people who will follow after you. To our guests, partners, and supporters, thank you for believing in youth participation. Thank you for giving us the room to show that young people are not just the future, but we are part of the present. My role today is to guide the sit-in, keep order, and ensure we maintain the standards expected on a national stage. But before I close, allow me to recognize Ms. Trevelyn Stapleton, Clerk of the National Assembly, Mr. Mauriel Knight, Deputy Clerk of the National Assembly, Ms. Patrice Harris, former President of SKNIS, Ms. Carissa Roberts, former Treasurer, Akwanje Robinson, former PRO and CARICOM Youth Ambassador, Fisheries Antoine, Chair of the Parliament Sitting Committee, as well as, I saw somebody else just now, but I missed them, but I'll announce them afterwards, as well as the Special Olympics that we've established a partnership with, so they're here to see us debate. With that, members, prepare yourselves. The sitting of the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association is now in session.
Presentation of papers and reports from committees, petitions, government notices, unofficial notices, questions, requests for leave to move the adjournment of the National Assembly on matters of urgent public importance, statements by ministers, personal explanations, motions relating to the business of the National Assembly and moved by a minister, public business, motions, resolutions.
I recognize the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Fiona Penny.
Mr. Speaker, I seek your leave to have adopted in this sitting a resolution by the SKNIS National Youth Parliament Association.
Turn on your mic. Your mic is on?
Yeah, it's on. Okay, so Mr. Speaker, I seek your leave to have adopted in this sitting a resolution by the SKNIS National Youth Parliament Association calling for the introduction of innovative policies to aid in the development of the Federation of SKNIS and NIVIS. A resolution by the SKNIS National Youth Parliament Association calling for the introduction of innovative policies to aid in the development of the Federation of SKNIS and NIVIS. Acknowledging that the government of SKNIS and NIVIS has launched the Sustainable Island State Agenda as a comprehensive roadmap for achieving sustainable development and resilience. Whereas the absence of mandatory financial literacy courses within the Caribbean education system has resulted in citizens being inadequately prepared to budget, save, manage credit, and invest, perpetuating cycles of poverty and excessive consumerism. And whereas the persistent issue of brain drain within the region deprives Caribbean states of skilled personnel needed to sustain economic productivity, resulting in continued dependence on costly imports, especially amid increased tariffs from global suppliers. And noting that the growing frequency and intensity of natural disasters in the Caribbean underscores the urgent need for economic diversification, disaster-resilient infrastructure, and sustainable innovation. Be it resolved that the SKNIS Legislative Assembly urge the governments of SKNIS and NIVIS to introduce mandatory financial literacy education at both the secondary and tertiary levels. Be it further resolved that programs be implemented to incentivize skilled nationals to remain in or return to the Federation through entrepreneurship grants, innovation hubs, and remote work support. Be it further resolved that skilled learning and technical training be made compulsory in schools to equip youth with employable skills and reduce dependency on foreign expertise. Be it further resolved that a national digital marketplace be established to promote and export local products, enhancing visibility and profitability for small and medium enterprises. Be it further resolved that disaster resilience building codes be introduced and enforced, including requirements that all new structures be solar ready and capable of withstanding extreme weather events. Be it finally resolved that policies be designed to support blue economy startups, particularly in sustainable fisheries, marine technology, and coastal tourism, as part of the Federation's transition to a resilient, innovation-driven island state. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, members of the gallery, citizens, residents, and the thousands tuned in across our shores, good afternoon. I stand as Prime Minister in the hallowed halls of our sacred chambers. At this pivotal moment in our nation's history, we meet not in routine session, but in a defining one. Before this honorable house is a resolution born from vision, a vision that sees beyond policy, sees beyond reports, and speaks to the future we are building together. Mr. Speaker, the resolution draws on the government's Sustainable Island State Agenda, not as a set of rules, but as a guide, a compass, pointing us toward resilience, innovation, and a sustainable tomorrow. And as I rise to affirm that the young people of this nation have a role to play and it is my responsibility to ensure that they are empowered with opportunities, guidance, and policies that allow them to contribute boldly to the future we will inherit and shape together. Mr. Speaker, this resolution recognizes a pressing issue affecting our region: the absence of mandatory financial literacy education within the Caribbean school system that has left too many of our citizens unprepared to budget, save, manage credit responsibly, and invest wisely. As a result, this gap continues to feed cycles of financial stress and overconsumption across generations, limiting our people's ability to build stability and long-term security. However, Mr. Speaker, while the challenge is significant, it is equally important to acknowledge that the government of St. Kitts and Nevis has already taken decisive steps through the Sustainable Island State agenda. Through CISA, the Aspire program has strengthened youth financial empowerment. Over 5,200 youth have applied. More than 4,000 saving accounts have been opened, and each seeded with EC 1,000, injecting over EC $40 million directly into the hands of our young people. Additionally, the schools across the Federation have hosted workshops and assemblies equipping students with practical money management skills. Yet, Mr. Speaker, identifying the challenge is not enough. Therefore, we must re-envision an education system where financial literacy is not optional, but foundational. With this in mind, and with CISA already providing structure and measurable progress, we have the problem to integrate personal finance into our national curriculum. Imagine a Caribbean where every student graduates confident, economically aware, and capable of contributing meaningfully to national development. Consequently, this resolution strengthens CISA. It does not reinvent, but reinforces. By elevating financial literacy, we prepare a generation able to rise above hardship, make sound financial decisions, and build generational wealth right here at home. And furthermore, Mr. Speaker, my minister will dive further into the technical details of this pillar. But the message is clear. Empowering our people financially is not just a smart policy, it is nation building. Mr. Speaker, while strengthening the financial literacy of our people is essential to building a more secure and self-reliant federation, we must also confront another challenge that threatens our long-term growth. Even as we prepare our citizens to manage their finances wisely, we cannot ignore the reality that many of our brightest, most capable individuals continue to leave our shores in search of opportunity elsewhere. This brings me, Mr. Speaker, to the next clause of this resolution, one that addresses the persistent issue of brain drain within our region. This is a lived reality right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We see it in our schools, struggling to retain experienced teachers. Even in our healthcare systems, relying heavily on imported personnel, and in industries longing for technical expertise needed to compete globally. Mr. Speaker, when our skilled citizens migrate, the cost is far greater than the loss of talent alone. We lose years of national investment, training, years of education, mentorship, and experience that should have been strengthened both in our workforce and our national identity. As these skilled hands and brilliant minds depart, our economic productivity weakens. This weakness forces us, Mr. Speaker, into deeper dependence on costly imports, especially now, when global suppliers continue to raise tariffs and small island states like ours bear the brunt of those increases. We find ourselves importing what we could produce, paying for services we could have provided locally, depending on external markets whose priorities may shift long before ours do. Mr. Speaker, this clause challenges us to confront this issue with clarity and courage. It reminds us that if we are to build a federation that is resilient, innovative, and truly self-sustaining, we must create an environment where our people feel valued, supported, and confident in their future right here at home. And it is for that reason, Mr. Speaker, that this government stands firmly committed to pursuing the innovative, people-centered policies outlined in this resolution. Policies designed not only to retain our talent, but to give every Kittian and Division a reason to stay, to serve, and to build with a renewed sense of national pride. And noting that the increasing frequency and intensity of natural disasters across the Caribbean therefore underscores the urgent need for economic diversification, disaster-resilient infrastructure, and sustainable innovation. Mr. Speaker, indeed, this new reality is putting real pressure on our farmers and on the livelihoods so many families depend on. Moreover, recognizing the vulnerability, the government has recently signed an agreement to strengthen early warning systems for extreme weather, partnering with Italy to install advanced monitoring that can protect our people before disaster strikes. However, while these preventative measures are critical, they are not enough. They must be paired with economic strategies that reduce our dependence on climate-sensitive sectors. Furthermore, we see the cost of inaction elsewhere in the region. Just weeks ago, Hurricane Melissa, a Category 5 hurricane, ravaged Jamaica, leaving widespread destruction, power outages, and forcing tens of thousands into shelters. SKNIS has even extended solidarity in response, pledging USD $100,000 to help Jamaica recover. These events make one thing painfully clear, Mr. Speaker. Our island cannot afford to stay fragile. Without resilient infrastructure, a more diverse economy, and homegrown innovation, every storm, every drought puts our people's security and livelihoods at risk. Ultimately, this, Mr. Speaker, is proof that my government is already putting plans and solutions in place, eliminating the rovies in the dance before the dance has begun. Mr. Speaker, this is a moment of national urgency. Our young people face financial pressures like never before. The cost of living is rising exponentially. Opportunities are limited. And disasters like the recent hurricane that struck Jamaica, Haiti, and Cuba remind us just how fragile economic security truly is. Therefore, we cannot wait for crisis to shape our youth. Instead, we must equip them with the knowledge and empower them with the skills today, not tomorrow. Moreover, financial literacy is more than numbers on paper. Countries that invest in financial education see citizens who thrive, economies that grow, and communities that endure. Take Jamaica, for example. In 2023, their very own youth parliamentarians called for financial literacy to be integrated into the core curriculum as a strategy for wealth creation and long-term resilience. By 2024, just a year after, Mr. Speaker, their Ministry of Education had trained hundreds of teachers to deliver personal finance instruction. In other words, Jamaica saw the urgency, Jamaica saw the need, and Jamaica acted. This is exactly what our nation needs, and we are committed to delivering it. Thus, starting in 2026, Washington Archibald High School and the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College will serve as catalysts for financial well-being across our federation. Furthermore, I am pleased to report that the Student Government Association, led by Vikel Edwards Douglas, will host its own financial wellness seminar under the theme, Take Charge, this coming Thursday. This initiative reflects our students' readiness to embrace this national vision. They will lead the way, and from them we will expand and refine, ensuring every student is prepared to meet the financial challenges of today. Finally, Mr. Speaker, this National Assembly holds a sacred duty. Mandatory financial literacy education is not simply a policy. It is a commitment, a responsibility, and a transformative step for every young person in this federation. Without it, we will continue producing students who can flawlessly recite the Pythagorean theorem, yet still don't understand why their money finishes every 15th of every month. Interesting. Mr. Speaker, if we want our skilled nationals to stay in or return to our federation, we must create an environment that truly meets their ambitions. In the 2024 budget address, our government highlighted explicitly entrepreneurship and small businesses as a pivotal part of the Sustainable Island State vision, promoting innovation and sustainable business practices. This aligns directly with CISA, which already provides concrete mechanisms via SME support, innovation-driven entrepreneurship, and talent retention initiatives to keep and attract skilled nationals. You know, Mr. Speaker, I remember back in my days of CFBC, many, many years ago, some of us worry that even with the top degrees, opportunities and pay here might not match our skills. Others feared that their dreams could only be realized overseas. Tell me, Mr. Speaker, is that the future we want for our nation? I say no. That is the reality we must change. So how do we change it? By providing entrepreneurship grants for those ready to build, creating innovation hubs where creativity, technology can flourish, offering digital skills certification in coding, data analysis, cybersecurity, digital marketing and design, and supporting remote work, so our people can compete and earn on the global stage without leaving home. Programs like the Returning Nationals Entrepreneurship Grant will provide immediate funding to young people returning from studies, so ideas do not wait and talent does not leave. We are not starting from scratch, let's get that clear. Our Returning Nationals Secretariat already helps citizens resettle, guiding them through business registration and in port support. Leaders like Esther Smith, President of the Returning Nationals and Descendants Association, assist returning citizens in navigating these transitions. Even Nevis has shown what is possible, offering duty-free startup equipment for returnees. This is how we retain our nurses. This is how we retain our creatives, scholars, tech minds, and innovators. A national innovation hub gives entrepreneurs a place to grow and develop. Digital skills certification and strong remote work support ensure every clinician and division can compete globally. This is how we strengthen our economy and invest in our people. And, Mr. Speaker, this is how we honor country above self, by giving every citizen the opportunity to build their future right here at home, fully aligned with CISA's vision and already backed by concrete programs and measurable action. Mr. Speaker, we cannot keep losing our brightest minds, because right now, as soon as some of our students collect their diplomas, they run to the airport faster than Leah used to the last flight. I don't understand. And Mr. Speaker, too many of our young people leave school without the practical skills our economy urgently needs, forcing us to rely on foreign expertise for critical jobs. In SKNIS and TVET, programs like the Caribbean Vocational Qualification exist, but uptake remains limited. And we are not yet realizing the full potential of technical education. Regional initiatives like the OEC Skills and Innovation Project highlights the value of prioritizing technical and vocational education. Mr. Speaker, we propose making skilled learning and technical training compulsory in our schools. Imagine a curriculum where every student gains hands-on skills in trades, technology, and emerging industries, not just theory. This empowers youth, builds confidence, and ensures that jobs traditionally filled by foreign workers can now be done by our very own citizens. Mr. Speaker, we must also challenge the stigma around technical education. These skills should be celebrated, not just seen as a second choice. We will launch public campaigns that showcase successful tradespeople, highlight entrepreneurial opportunities, and inspire pride in vocational careers. By investing in modern workshops, labs, and partnerships with local businesses, students can train on real equipment and gain practical experiences. Aligning these programs with digital and green economy priorities prepares our youth not just for today, but for the jobs of tomorrow. Making technical training compulsory is more than an educational reform. It is, Mr. Speaker, an investment in our people, our resilience, and the long-term prosperity of SKNIS and TVET. It ensures our young people are equipped to thrive, innovate, and lead right here at home. If we don't embrace technical skills, Mr. Speaker, we'll continue importing specialists just to fix a loose pipe, while our own young men stand by saying, "Boss, I watched your YouTube video already, just give me the tools." What? We have to do better. Mr. Speaker, our small and medium-sized enterprises are the backbone of our economy, full of talent, full of creativity and innovation, yet far too often their reach is limited to our local markets, and many struggle to gain visibility and profitability they deserve. Think of our artisans in Bastille, our farmers in Cayon, our tech startups in Charlestown. Their products are exceptional, but they often lack the platforms to reach regional or global consumers. That is why we propose the establishment of a national digital marketplace. This would be central, government-supported online platform where our entrepreneurs can showcase their goods and services, connect with buyers beyond our borders, and expand their businesses. It will provide marketing support, digital payment solutions, logistics guidance, and training for small business owners on how to thrive in e-commerce. Mr. Speaker, this marketplace is more about than just selling products. It gives our local entrepreneurs real opportunities, boosts our economy, and helps SKNIS and TVET hold its own in today's global economy. By promoting and exporting our local products, we can help our small and medium-sized businesses grow, create more jobs, and give our people a real chance to build sustainable livelihoods without having to leave home. But Mr. Speaker, some of our entrepreneurs have talents hidden in their kitchen cupboards. They make pepper sauce, sugar cakes, soaps, everything you can think of. but their only customers are family members who keep saying, yes, ma'am, I'll pay you next month. Mr. Speaker, sometimes you're all begging down your business. But with our national digital marketplace, we will ensure that citizens will be able to tap into a wider customer base. Mr. Speaker, the Caribbean has long borne the brunt of climate change. Hurricanes, flooding, and extreme weather seem more frequent every single year. That is why we must adopt and enforce disaster-resilient building codes. We propose a regulation that requires all new buildings to be able to withstand strong storms and be solar ready, protecting both lives and energy security. This is not a far-fetched plan. We are following proven models.
Honorable Prime Minister.
For example,
how long do we have to go?
We will have one more clause and the conclusion.
Okay, let's wrap up. Let's wrap up.
Okay. Let's continue.
No, let's wrap up.
Yes, let's wrap up, as the Mr. Speaker says. The Caribbean Development Bank, together with SEDEMA and CARICOM, Regional Organization for Standards and Quality, has launched a safer building program based on the updated CARICOM Code of Practice, which is specifically designed to help homes survive Category 5 hurricanes. Mr. Speaker, with the way hurricanes are strengthening these days, your roofs needs to be more committed than some people's New Year's resolution. Be it finally resolved that policies be designed to support the blue economy startups in sustainable fisheries, marine technology, and coastal tourism as part of building a resilient, innovation-driven island state. Mr. Speaker, today we share a vision, bold, clear, and full of promise for St. Kitts and Nevis. A nation that is strong, resilient, and full of opportunity. We start with our people. Our youth will be equipped with financial literacy, practical skills, and the confidence to make smart, informed choices. We will ensure that brightest minds right here stay or return, supported by entrepreneurship grants, innovative hubs, digital skills, and remote work opportunities so that talent thrives right here at home. And we will harness the wealth of our seas through blue economy initiatives, creating jobs, boosting tourism, and growing sustainably, so that the beauty of our island becomes a source of opportunity for all. Mr. Speaker, this is more than policy. This is a commitment to our people, our nation, and our future. This is how we empower our youth, retain our talent, and create a federation where every citizen can thrive, build, and succeed right here. The time is now. Let us build a St. Kitts and Nevis that is resilient, innovative, and prosperous, not just for today, but for generations to come. This is our legacy. This is our promise. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. I recognize the arrival of Bishop Williams, our Federation's Ombudsman, Fisheries Comes, Director of Government House, as well as Jema's mom, Fitzroy Edinburgh, former President, Hassani MacDonald, former President, and Naomi Francis, current Treasurer. Now we have I also caution the members that we have limited time in the chambers, so as much as possible be as brief with your contributions and succinct. I recognize the Honorable Zarek White.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues and guests. I rise to second the motion before the House and make a brief contribution to motion the debate. I rise as the Minister of Entrepreneurship and Economic Development with a message that is straightforward. If we keep losing our people, we keep losing our plans. We talked often about a sustainable island state, but if the talent needed to build that reality is boarding flights to New York, London, and Toronto, then sustainability becomes a slogan instead of a strategy. And despite the urgency, the opposition still behave as if brain drain is simply a footnote instead of a national threat. We call it brain drain, but let us be honest. This is a mass evacuation of Caribbean talent. The IMF reports that most Caribbean countries have lost over 50% of their tertiary educated citizens. In simple language, we invest the money and someone else collects the return. A recent World Bank supported review calls our region's high-skilled immigration among the highest in the world. St. Kitts and Nevis is a part of that reality. Our own diaspora policy admits openly that the number of nationals abroad is so significant that we must treat them as a strategic resource to soften the blow of brain drain. St. Kitts, we had to write this problem into policy because ignoring it never solved it. But beyond statistics, Mr. Speaker, there is a human story behind this crisis, one we hear from our very own young people. Whenever our students leave for university overseas, we celebrate them on Facebook, we applaud their scholarships, we share their accomplishments proudly. But then, in private conversations, in WhatsApp groups, in student associations, they confess something painful. I don't want to come back home. There's nothing here for me. Some say the job market feels too small. Some say the salaries can't match the cost of living. Some say there are no meaningful pathways for growth. And some say, I love my country, but coming home feels like slowing down. Mr. Speaker, that single sentence, there's nothing for me to do, is the most dangerous statement a small island can produce. Because when hope leaves, people follow. And once our brightest feel that returning home is a downgrade, then we cannot act surprised when they settle abroad. This is the heart of the brain drain crisis. We are losing people not because they don't love home, but because they don't see opportunity here and the consequences are expensive. Once our own skilled nationals migrate, we end up importing skills at a premium price, recruitment fees, work permits, relocation allowances, housing support. At the same time, taxpayers already paid for the education and training of the very people who left. Regional labor migration analyzes warn this cycle. Train at home, work abroad, then import replacements, slows innovation and drains public finances. However, Mr. Speaker, I am encouraged by the fact that the Caribbean is not sitting quietly and accepting this fate. Look at St. Martin. Earlier this year, international reports highlighted a bold national initiative: cash relocation allowances, paid economy flights back home, a 6-week hotel stay, shipping support, extra assistance for families, and even student loan repayment help. Why? Because they recognize that retaining and returning talent is cheaper than losing it forever. Even within our own federation, Nevis has introduced a diaspora investment policy, offering fiscal concessions and incentives to bring nationals back home to live, work, and invest. That is leadership choosing solutions over stagnation. So, What does this mean for us on the government benches and for my portfolio in particular? It means we cannot simply describe the problem, we must interrupt it. First, we are integrating brain drain solutions into existing tools. We have the Small Business Development Act 2009, the SBDC, and our Building Bankable Businesses program. What I am proposing is targeted action, a return and build grant window for nationals skilled in priority sectors, education, ICT, climate smart agriculture, engineering, and creative industries. Student loan forgiveness for graduates who come home and commit to work or entrepreneurship for a minimum number of years. This is not giving away money. This is investing in our greatest national assets.
One minute to proceed.
Our own people. We are planning to expand real innovation spaces. UNDP studies are clear. Talent stays where innovation thrives. We already have our digital transformation agenda, the internet exchange point, digital services network, but we can go further by creating community innovation hubs in Sandy Point, Keyon, and Nevis. We are offering innovation vouchers for prototyping, technology development, and incubation space. Engaging our diaspora as mentors, angel investors, and strategic connectors. When young innovators have real spaces to build real ideas, staying home becomes a choice, not a compromise. Finally, the private sector has a crucial role to play. Businesses can offer retention bonuses and clear career pathways, co-fund returnee packages, provide internships and mentorships to SBDC and innovation hubs, build stronger connections with diaspora entrepreneurs and investors. Mr. Speaker, when you put all of this together, the picture is unmistakable. We cannot build a sustainable island state while exporting the very talent required to sustain it. But with targeted grants, functional innovation hubs, remote work pathways, and a proactive private sector, brain drain becomes brain circulation, even brain gain. That is why, as Minister of Entrepreneurship and Economic Development, I strongly support this resolution, because our people are our most valuable capital, and when we keep them, empower them, and welcome them home, there is no limit to what St. Kitts and Nevis can build. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Honorable Zarik White. And just for clarity, the Prime Minister, she would have spoke over 20 minutes. We gave them unlimited time, but for the other speakers, they get 7 minutes. So that's why I'm timing them. I'm not being unfair, just making sure I put that out there. All right. Now we'll have the leader of the opposition to deliver his response. I ask you to be as brief and succinct in your responses as possible due to the time.
Good. Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, members in the gallery, members online, I promise I won't do anything exciting today. I cannot, however, sit idly by when the people are being affected by this government's policies, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today it would be remiss of me not to start by mentioning what I believe to be one of the most local infamous quotes on innovation by Governor Antoine, where he says, as a region, we cannot change our history, nor can we change our geography, but together we can change our development trajectory through innovation and collective action. And while we must, if we can, develop this country to be the single best country in the world, we must now reflect on our actions and have some diligence in our efforts to achieve our development goals. And that is, Mr. Speaker, we must acknowledge the fact that as a country, innovation don't last. We must also recognize that innovation and development without protecting the people is no development at all. It is on that foundation, Mr. Speaker, that I now turn to the reality before us. The troubling pattern that in St. Kitts and Nevis, innovation simply does not last. Peter Drucker suggested that to achieve something new, one must cease doing something old, a sentiment echoed by Charles Kettering, who said, if you have always done it that way, it is probably wrong. And we have had a major problem in this country, where realistically, innovation don't last. We introduce new systems, technologies, or infrastructure, but after a few years, they break down, fall apart, or stop being used. I remember, Mr. Speaker, when we were introduced to the mobile command unit, where they know the wind turbine farm and solar farm, you call to ask them what's happening, they ain't working. I could give an extraneous list of the innovations that start and stop, including some forensic vehicles we just get. I see one getting an accident, and the next one, I don't know what happened to the next one, Mr. Speaker. And we had a conversation just now about 2 electric buses that came. Somebody said they ain't gonna last 2 years, if so long, Mr. Speaker. That should not be the reality that is happening in our country, Mr. Speaker. The issue isn't innovation itself. It is the support behind it. It fails because nobody maintains them, no proper training is given, no budget is set aside for upkeep, people weren't prepared to use and protect them, no long-term plan was in place. Innovation dies because the people and systems around it are not supported. Innovation is treated like a moment, not a long-term investment. We cut ribbons, have big ceremonies, emphasis on the big. We celebrate, but after the spotlight fades, the moment drops. Innovation is left to rot. Mr. Speaker, if we are to achieve something new, like Peter Drucker said, we have to get rid of the old habits of improper maintenance, the old systems that don't work, and the countless of numerous policies that suffocate innovation. On people and systems, Mr. Speaker, I ain't going to stay long like the Honorable Prime Minister. I cannot leave this Honorable House without echoing the claim that development without protecting the people is no development at all. I am asking, Mr. Speaker, that when we're going out, when we're attempting innovative projects, when we're trying to find solutions to problems, we always ensure that there are provisions to protect the people that they came to develop. I don't know how we get so slack as a people to allow for our government to remove local businesses and entrepreneurs from the ports they are operating on, from the beaches where they have contributed so much to our culture, to our tourism product, and to the collective development, to replace them with foreigners under the guise of development and innovation. It is wrong, Mr. Speaker. And that is why, Honorable Minister of Entrepreneurship, they leave in, because there is no support given. Remember who we are here for. For the people, Mr. Speaker. Protecting the people must be at the center of every decision we make. Innovation cannot be used as a mask to sideline those who built this country, nor development be an excuse to displace the citizens it is meant to uplift. When we talk about progress, we must talk equally about fairness, access, and inclusion. We must ensure that every innovative project has guardrails, protections for workers, opportunities for local entrepreneurs, and safeguards that prevent exploitation. Because, Mr. Speaker, any model of development that elevates infrastructure but erases people is no development at all. Our people are not obstacles to development. They are the backbone of it. And if we truly want innovation to thrive, then we must create the systems that empower our citizens, not replace them. Let us innovate, yes, but let us innovate in a way that honors our culture, strengthens our communities, and preserves the dignity of every Kittitian and Nivijan who calls this land home. Mr. Speaker, all we are asking is that if we are going to innovate in this country, let us do it properly. Let us plan properly, maintain properly, train properly, and protect our people properly. Innovation cannot survive on excitement alone. It survives on structure, support, and stewardship. If we truly want development that lasts, then we must change the old habits that keep killing the very ideas we came to be proud of. Mr. Speaker, when Governor Antoine reminded us that we cannot change our history nor our geography, but we can change our development trajectory, he was not speaking about innovation for innovation's sake. He was speaking about innovation with purpose, innovation with people at the center, innovation that lasts. And today, after examining this legislation, it is clear that our trajectory will not shift by repeating the same old cycle of short-lived projects, unprotected citizens, and unsustained ideas. All we're asking, Mr. Speaker, is that when we're speaking of innovation, do it properly, and St. Kitts and Nevis will rise properly. If it pleases you, Mr. Speaker. See, I wasn't that long?
All right. Thank you, Leader of the Opposition. I recognize the Honorable Malia Peterson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. I rise on the opposition side this afternoon because while this resolution comes dressed in attractive language and hopeful promises, the clause on brain drain does not line up with the reality young Kittitians and Nevisians face every single day. Clause 2 says that brain drain deprives our region of skilled personnel. That is true. But Mr. Speaker, let's be honest. Young people are not leaving St. Kitts and Nevis because we lack innovation hubs or entrepreneurship grants. They are leaving because living here is becoming harder, not easier. You cannot expect our nurses, teachers, engineers, and graduates to stay when the conditions around them are not conducive to their personal or professional advancement. This resolution does not fix those conditions. Instead, it tries to sweeten the situation with some talk about innovation. But Mr. Speaker, sugar can't fix salt. Mr. Speaker, everyone in this House knows the real reasons our young people migrate. The cost of living rising steadily, wages not keeping up, and graduates unable to find jobs matching their skills. And when they do find work, the salary can't even carry them throughout the month. These are the pressures pushing our people out, not the absence of hubs and grants. So when the government frames brain drain as a simple lack of opportunity, they are misdiagnosing the problem. Brain drain is not a publicity issue. It is a structural one. Now, Mr. Speaker, the government wants us to believe that a grant here and a hub there will somehow convince our young people to stay. But let's be real. Those things cannot compete with the salaries, benefits, and stability offered overseas. You cannot out-pay Canada. You cannot out-benefit the UK. You cannot out-incentivize the United States. And as much as we smile but Talawa, Mr. Speaker, we must stop pretending we can. It sounds cute, but it is not realistic. Mr. Speaker, hear this clearly. The youth of this country are not running away. They are being pushed away. And if the government won't admit that, then they are a part of that push. This brings me to a deeper concern. We in the Caribbean, especially here in St. Kitts and Nevis, suffer from a condition I call IDD, Implementation Deficit Disorder. We love big plans, big documents, big visions. We love how things look and sound on paper. But Mr. Speaker, paper progress is not real progress. Announcing something is not the same as delivering it. Launching is not the same as completing.
And until this government shows consistent follow-through, the youth have every right to question whether this clause will become action or just another addition to the shelf of coming soon. And Mr. Speaker, beyond the promises, we must talk about money. Innovation hubs require millions to build and more to sustain. Entrepreneurship grants require millions more. Remote work infrastructure demands a full digital overhaul. So which ministry is losing funding to support these dreams? Tourism, education, health. Mr. Speaker, we cannot run big country programs on small country pockets. The government side is writing checks with enthusiasm that the Treasury cannot cash with confidence. The government states that their programs will encourage youth to stay. But no young person will remain in a place where the math of survival does not add up. They say innovation hubs create opportunity. But opportunity without stability is just hope. And you cannot build a life on hope alone. Forward thinking does not mean rushing into expensive ideas without strengthening the foundation first. Real development begins with fixing the basics. Mr. Speaker, the opposition is not against addressing brain drain. We simply believe that this approach is not enough. A real solution must raise wages to match the cost of living, expand industries that create long-term jobs, improving working conditions, and build solid pathways between school and employment. That is how you convince people to stay. You do not keep people home with decoration, you keep them home with stability. And Mr. Speaker, as a young Katisha myself, let me speak plainly. Young people do not want handouts. We want a fair chance. We don't want another shiny building with no real opportunity inside it. We want a path we can depend on, a future we can plan for. A life here that doesn't feel pressured, stretched, or stuck. Right now, too many young people feel the only way to move forward is to move away. This resolution does not change that reality. So, Mr. Speaker, the opposition cannot support this clause. It does not address the root issues, it does not fix the foundation, and it does not provide the stability our young people need to stay. What it offers is surface level comfort when this country needs deep down change. And until a plan reflects that, we on this side simply cannot support it. May it please you.
Thank you for your contribution, Honorable Malia Peterson. I recognize the Honorable Caleb Strawn, Minister of Education.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, good afternoon. I rise today in strong support of the resolution calling for the introduction of mandatory financial literacy education at the secondary and tertiary levels, as outlined in the document before this Honorable Assembly. This measure is not simply an academic upgrade. It is a strategic intervention that strengthens our national resilience, empowers our young people, and directly supports the Sustainable Island State agenda, our roadmap for which we prepare more and we have a more prosperous future. Mr. Speaker, the resolution makes it clear that the absence of structured financial education in our region has left precious citizens ill-equipped to budget, save, and manage our credit and invest. We see this every day. High debt, low savings, dependence on foreign solutions, and generations repeating the same financial mistakes. Our people are intelligent and capable, but our systems have not equipped them to thrive in today's rapidly changing financial world. Sometimes, Mr. Speaker, I hear young people saying this: I saving, may have no money for this and that. And then when you ask them again, it's the same thing. They never seem to have any money. This is exactly why we need this reform, Mr. Speaker. Just this past weekend, I was reading Rich Dad's Guide to Investing by Robert Kiyosaki, the same author who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. In the chapter titled Financial Literacy Made Simple, Rich Dad tells Kiyosaki that his father struggled financially because he was word literate, but not financially literate, Mr. Speaker. He explains that if his father had to learn to read numbers, how to read numbers, and to understand the vocabulary of money, his life would have been dramatically different. And Mr. Speaker, let me tell you something. When a multimillionaire and a successful business owner speaks, I listen carefully, not because I like to be in things, but because I'm trying to figure out how to become one of them. The global examples are also clear. Singapore and South Korea integrated financial education into their national curricula decades ago, resulting in some of the highest household saving rates in the world. Finland, known for its social mobility, builds financial literacy into multiple levels of schooling. And Japan introduced mandatory financial education after its crisis in the 1990s, improving both saving and financial stability. But Mr. Speaker, we need not look far. Across the Caribbean, financial education is already making measurable impact. In Barbados, the Ministry of Education and the Central Bank introduced financial literacy modules that have improved budgeting habits among students and increased youth participation in saving programs. In Trinidad and Tobago, initiatives led by their Security and Exchange Commissions strengthen students' understanding of investments and reducing their exposure to financial scams. And in Jamaica, the money management program helped thousands of students develop strong financial habits that have improved financial decision-making across households. Mr. Speaker, these islands are small like ours, proving that structured financial education works. And if Barbados and Jamaica are doing it, you know we can't stay behind. Caribbean rivalry is like a real motivator. Just look at cricket for an example. Implementing this reform will also strengthen the sustainable island state agenda. A financial literate population is better prepared for economic shocks, more likely to save and more capable of investing in opportunities. Financial literacy fuels entrepreneurship, another pillar of CISA, and supports the development of local industries, reducing resilience and imported expertise. And let me tell you, let me be honest, Mr. Speaker, sorry. When our young people understand money, they become a lot harder to trick. No more buying this $600 sneaker now and worrying about life later. No, financial literacy creates discipline, and discipline is what we need. Mr. Speaker, financial literacy also is essential for disaster resilience. In a region vulnerable to hurricanes and climate-related events, households that understand insurance, emergency funds, and that risk management recover faster and more sustainably. And if we are serious about preventing brain drain highlighted in the resolution, then we must equip our young people with the confidence to build strong financial futures here at home. So how do we implement this reform in St. Kitts and Nevis? The pathway is practical. At the secondary level, financial literacy can be integrated into subjects such as mathematics, social studies, business, and citizenship. At the tertiary level, we introduce a compulsory financial foundations course for all students, regardless of their major. We strengthen partnerships with banks, credit unions, insurance companies, and the ECCB to provide real-world lessons, simulations, and materials. We incorporate project-based learning, investment games, budget challenges, entrepreneurship expos, and we use digital tools, including exploring a national financial literacy app. We train our teachers, involve our parents, and ensure a nationwide approach.
1 minute.
I got you, Mr. Speaker. A nationwide approach that touches every household. Mr. Speaker, programs like Aspire show us that this model is achievable. This resolution gives us a real opportunity not to just update education, but to transform mindsets, strengthen families, and secure our nation's economic future. Mandatory financial literacy will empower our youth, reinforce the goals of the Sustainable Island State Agenda, reduce brain drain, and help build a stronger, more financial capable federation. I therefore urge this Honorable House to support the resolution and take this bold step toward a more financial literate St. Kitts and Nevis. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Minister of Education. We now turn to the opposition. Honorable Jamal Gums.
Good afternoon.
Your contribution.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today in a curious position. On its face, the resolution presented by the government today, it's a compendium of commendable aspirations. Compendium. Again, I mean, who in this chamber would argue against financial literacy, against retaining our skilled citizens, against building a more resilient nation? I mean, for myself, I'm in agreement for most of these things. Honestly, the resolution presented is comparable to a beautiful mosaic. But Mr. Speaker, my duty on this side of the House is not to admire this mosaic. It is to check that each and every tile is glued properly. It's to ensure that the foundation is sound. It is to ask who will pay for the materials, who will do the work. It is in the spirit of constructive scrutiny that I must oppose this resolution in its current form. My central argument, Mr. Speaker, is this. A resolution is not a list of wishes. It is the definitive opinion and strategic directive of this legislative body. It is the compass that we hand to the government. And this resolution, for all its good intentions, it has no coordinates, no map, no protection against us sailing around in circles. In the spirit of constructive scrutiny, I wish to focus on one single clause, that clause being the mandatory financial literacy education. The government says, urge the government to introduce a simple, direct command. But I ask you, what exactly are we urging? Are we urging a robust, transformative initiative, or are we inadvertently mandating a minimal check-the-box program? The resolution's silence on this point is its greatest weakness. The silence creates three fatal flaws. First, it provides no legislative guardrails. Without this body specifying that the curriculum must be context-specific, the ministry burdened with budget constraints could implement the cheapest, most generic option. Will our children learn about balancing a checkbook from foreign textbooks, or will they learn about investing in our blue economy, managing finances in the digital EC landscape, navigating the unique entrepreneurial environment that St. Kitts and Nevis provide, the things that truly matter? I mean, the Minister of Education didn't answer any of these questions. The resolution as written does not care. It's content with the label financial literacy. It's indifferent to its substance. Second, this vagueness makes accountability impossible. In 2 years, when the government stands in this House and says, we have fulfilled the resolution, we have enlisted financial literacy, how will we measure that success? By the mere existence of a class, or by a demonstrable improvement in the financial well-being of our young people? The resolution as written allows them to succeed on paper. It is not designed to be declared a success, but not to be a success. And this leads me to my third point, the deafening silence on implementation. While a resolution need not be a step-by-step manual, it must demonstrate a basic understanding of the real-world challenges. Let's ask the gritty questions that this government chose to gloss over. The who. We are not operating in a vacuum. We already struggle to find enough qualified educators for core subjects like mathematics and English. The Minister of Education would attest to that, but I see that he left the chamber. Yet a recent UNESCO global report quantifies the crisis, revealing that an additional 3.2 million teachers are needed in Latin America and the Caribbean alone to achieve universal primary and secondary education. So I asked the government, From where, in the face of the staggering regional deficit, will we magically summon the required specialized and certified financial literacy teachers? Will we retrain existing staff, adding to their already heavy burden? Or will we hire expensive consultants, creating another unsustainable line item in our education budget? My next question is the how much. Mandating a new subject is not free. It requires curriculum development, teacher training, and textbook procurement. This resolution is silent on the funding mechanism. It is a blank check written on an empty account. Will this be funded by cutting other critical subjects, or will it require another tax? Mr. Speaker, as it appears that this is not an isolated issue, this pattern of vague optimism is a thread that runs through the entire fabric of this resolution. This resolution identifies problems and proposes solutions in single, breathless sentences, with no thought for the monumental implementation of challenge. It is an abdication of our responsibility to provide clear strategic direction. We are passing the entire intellectual burden of design to the executive, when we should be partnering with them by providing a wise and detailed vision. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I am tempted to support the sentiment of this resolution. I cannot support its substance. It is a collection of well-intentioned fantasies, not a set of actionable directives. I urge this House to send this resolution back. Send it back and tell the government to return with a version that includes guiding principles. Send it back and tell them to specify that financial literacy must be context-specific, ambitious, and integrated with vocational training. Send it back and tell them to define what truly meaningful incentives for skilled nationals look like. Let us not be legislators of empty promises. Let us be architects of actionable policy. Let us not just tell the government to act. Let us tell them how we expect them to act. Only then will we send a resolution worthy of the challenge, and not just a list of the challenges themselves. If it may please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for your contribution. We now have Honorable Minister of Social Development, the Honorable Jordan Taylor. Please proceed.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker, and esteemed honorable members of this House. I am speaking today not just as a minister, but as a citizen, a young, concerned citizen at that, of this thriving federation. Mr. Speaker, we have a big problem at this moment. The equation of citizens plus proper budgeting is not adding up. St. Kitts and Nevis is a federation with one of the highest paid minimum wage, EC $12.50 per hour, which is approximately 500 EC every week. Mr. Speaker, we should be able to hold ourselves at a higher standard of living opposed to other countries in the world. That is, if we are doing the right thing financially. Many people define budgeting as just saving money, but that is not all it is. You've got to know how much to pay, spend, and how much to save. I should not have to walk down the road and hear murmurs that time's hard and me ain't got no money, when this honorable government sitting on this honorable side of this honorable House has made it so that this country is in the high ranks of minimum wage. However, the main problem stems from exactly where income is spent. Mr. Speaker, if I had to do a random survey on what citizens will spend their money on this December, before you hear they add on a room to their house, they're on cruise trip, they're on vacation, and they want the best ultra costume. As Kittitians and divisions, our mentality is that we have to be in everything. The latest shoes with the latest phone. We like to say, it's sweet me, so I want it. And Mr. Speaker, I have no problem with a little self-indulgence of wants from time to time, because I do it myself. The problem is that this should come after you've taken care of your needs. Mr. Speaker, in relation to the CISA Pillar 4 sustainable settlements, Nobody wants to build houses anymore. People would rather rent for their whole lives than to own their own property. This should not be. We as a society should be able to leave properties, create long-lasting family homes, and thriving businesses. As a society, it is normalized to prioritize short-term needs opposed to long-term ones. In the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the first one is very simple for even the opposition to understand: no poverty. Why should someone buy the latest everything and still struggle to pay rent? To be at the brink of eviction, or to not qualify for loans? Mr. Speaker, I ensure, as do many citizens and even members in this parliament, that when pay comes, I know the basics of budgeting, which is what many of these secondary and tertiary institutions lack. Inadequate budgeting skills are the main cause of citizens living above their means. Mr. Speaker, you're making 3,000 and you're spending 4. This is just one of the many examples. People are too worried about having money in their hand that they're willing to take out loans and fast cash. Loans should be used as investment. Only take out a loan if it will benefit you in the long term and you have certainty that it can be paid back. Mr. Speaker, my late grandmother used to say, who does not pay Saba will pay Abba. I do not believe in the notion of taking out a loan to pay off another loan. No matter how many loans you pay, you're still in debt. How are we truly going to have this financial freedom everybody talking about if we always owe somebody? Mr. Speaker, the mere fact that most students in high school do not even know the process to obtaining and to use a loan shows that this federation needs this resolution. Mr. Speaker, permit me to speak on the overuse of government assistance. Government assistance is simply defined as aid provided to government, from government to individuals to help them overcome difficulties financially. A qualified group who can claim this are low-income earners, formerly known as the Poverty Alleviation Program, PAP, now known as the Livelihood Improvement for Family Transformation, LIFT, is this aid. There was also an aid given during the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Speaker, too much time on these causes people who are qualified to become stagnant. They are so used to the aid that they no longer want to budget correctly or even work. Mr. Speaker, this aid should not be viewed as just free money without cause in their budget or lack thereof, but rather a boost of sorts. When aid can no longer be claimed, this is the very reason why many people say, me ain't got the money, or their budget in shambles. And the opposition needs to understand, St. Kitts does not have all the money in the world. Mr. Speaker, Sustainable Goal 4 simply says quality education. Because of the limited financial skills being taught, many people are not financially prepared for emergencies and disasters. If a harsh hurricane were to reach a federation, you see lots of citizens who claim to be working in these big jobs without homes and little to no chance being able to rebuild out of their pocket or minimal help from the government. And yes, inflation is real. Everyone does feel it. But Mr. Speaker, how do we plan to stay afloat and keep our RAF inflated if we are not equipped with budgeting skills to cut unnecessary costs and putting money aside? At the end of the day, you have to support you. We as leaders should be able to equip these young men and women to have these skills, to raise families and so much more. Someone graduating CFBC or even high school should be secure enough to know that they are financially prepared for the workforce. Mr. Speaker, these financial literacy policies are needed, especially in schools, to reduce current poverty, to thwart future poverty, and to ensure citizens are properly equipped to live a long, comfortable life in this federation. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, okay. Right on the minute. Right on the minute. All right. I recognize the Honorable Kalia Douglas, Minister of Youth Empowerment. You may proceed with your contribution.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to make a contribution before this honorable House. Some have said salt can sweeten sugar, but for all of us who could cook, we know that sugar and salt don't go in the same pot. And today, we are choosing to sweeten the pot with the promotion of TVET, tackling youth unemployment and aligning our training with the Sustainable Island State agenda to ensure that our youth's future is secured. Mr. Speaker, we must be honest here about the challenges our young people are facing daily in this federation. While the unemployment rates have improved significantly, youth unemployment, particularly those transitioning directly from secondary and tertiary level education, remain a persistent concern. This is not simply a matter of lack of available jobs. It is fundamentally an imbalance in the skills offered and required in our modern and diversified economy. Mr. Speaker, the people place their trust in my government to build a better future, something that past administrations have failed to do. They trusted us to deliver a new and improved JNF hospital, a new Bastia High School, and climate-resilient infrastructure. But who will build them if our young people are not equipped with the required skills? While many still pursue traditional academic paths, our nation urgently needs certified engineers, skilled plumbers, and master electricians. Our youth are not uneducated or underqualified. They simply lack specific technical competencies for the jobs that we are creating. The skill gap remains one of the biggest constraints across the nation. Mr. Speaker, this mismatch is a Caribbean-wide crisis. Research across the region confirms it. And I have 2 World Bank articles here with me for anyone requiring the proof. They show that the skills young people favor today will not carry us into the future. Firms consistently rank the shortage of skilled workers among the top barriers to doing business. In 2020, half of skilled job vacancies went unfilled in places like St. Vincent and St. Lucia. And 61% of youth struggle to find employment because their academic qualifications did not match market needs. This is why my government is acting. The donation of 2 electric buses from Taiwan's Tron-E Energy Technology creates an immediate demand for electric vehicle maintenance technicians. And Mr. Speaker, some may say, oh, they won't even last 2 months. But with the top-notch training our students will receive to maintain them, we will continue to counter this false rhetoric. These buses will last because our young people will have the certified skills to keep them running at their best. Mr. Speaker, the jobs of yesterday are diminishing. Today's workforce requires certified technical skills in information and communication technology, in construction and engineering, and in renewable energy and climate action. Mr. Speaker, for decades, technical and vocational education and training subjects were unfairly labeled as for underachievers or dismissed as backbreaking and dirty work. This harmful mindset has weakened our workforce and discouraged countless young people. Regionally, this underinvestment is clear. Eastern Caribbean countries spend only 14% of their education budget on post-secondary training, compared to 25% in Latin America. We must do better. And with the growing demand for skilled labor, Mr. Speaker, that outdated narrative is officially cancelled. We must remove the stigma once and for all, because today, certified carpenters and plumbers in this federation are making more than you and I. And these skills are now the main cracks of our modern economy. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, we have recognized that we cannot solve a 21st century problem with a 20th century solution. And this is why we undertook the most significant transformation of TVET in our nation's history. Under the leadership of my caring government, the Christopher Wilkin Institute of Technology has launched in September 2025. Formed through the strategic merger of AVEC, Project Strong, and the NSTP. CWIT now offers flexible learning pathways, globally recognized certifications, and training aligned with high-value job sectors. To quote former Prime Minister Dr. Denzel Douglas, the rethinking and remarketing of TVET is about expanding options, inclusion, opportunity, and seeing strengths where we never looked for them before. And Mr. Speaker, I am willing and prepared to go out and look for those skills myself, nurture and develop them wherever our young people are. As Minister of Youth, my mission is to ensure every student leaves our education system workforce ready, skilled in critical thinking, teamwork, and hands-on technical proficiency. Through programs like the Building Bankable Businesses Initiative, we are nurturing an entrepreneurial mindset so young people can create these jobs, not just seek them. Most importantly, our TVET transformation aligns with CISA,
1 minute.
the national blueprint for our resilience. If we intend to become one of the region's first sustainable island states, the transformation must begin with our youth. Mr. Speaker, every dollar invested in TVET is a dollar invested in a guaranteed future industry. My government is not only addressing the skills gap in St. Kitts and Nevis, we are setting a new standard for the entire Caribbean region. And we are building a generation of young people who are skilled, certified, employed, and central to creating a bigger, better St. Kitts and Nevis. May this please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister of Youth Empowerment, Kalia Douglas. I now recognize the Honorable Zara Brown.
Good evening, Mr. Speaker. Honorable members of this House, I rise today for the opposition not to dismiss this resolution outright, but to confront a deep flaw buried within it. Yes, on paper, this resolution looks big, ambitious, dreamy, sustainable island state and all that. But underneath all that sparkle, what we have is a stack of unfunded promises, unrealistic commitments, and ideas that simply do not match the real capacity of our federation. And at the heart of this mess, one clause that's truly troubling, making technical and vocational training compulsory in every school across the nation. Now, let me be clear. The opposition does support technical education. We know TVET has value. We know it's relevant for jobs. We know it's relevant for nation building, for giving our young people real skills. But to force every single student into a technical mold, Mr. Speaker, that's where we draw the line. Opportunity is one thing. Obligation is another. You don't legislate desire. Firstly, not all students want to be mechanics, carpenters, or electricians. Some want to be professional, some want to go into academics, others might just want to raise a business or do something creative. For a small federation like ours, with maybe 50,000 people, but big dreams, our students deserve choice. Forcing technical training strips away freedom. Education should expand options, not force-feed a single path. Secondly, practical capacity-wise, this proposal is frankly out of touch with reality. The government side is acting as if all of our schools are already mini technical colleges with modern workshops and certified instructors ready to teach power tools and CAD drawing, but that is not the case across the board. Yes, there is a TVET enhancement project. According to our education ministry, they have invested in upgrading TVET spaces in some schools. There has been some work. Gingerland Secondary in Nevis got a brand new 2-story technical wing, wood workshop, technical drawing rooms, cosmetology labs. But hold up. That's just one school getting a wing. Mr. Speaker, where does this leave the rest? And how many schools are still under-resourced? The 2017 to 2021 education sector plan itself constrains in TVET. Lack of consistent data, teacher supply issues, management problems, quality and relevance concerns. So yes, they know there are gaps, but now they want to pass a resolution making this mandatory across the board. That is hypocrisy, not leadership. Thirdly, the financial burden of making this compulsory is massive. Think about what this requires: building or renovating workshops, installing proper ventilation, buying expensive tools, and ensuring safety standards are met. And that's before we even talk about hiring or training enough TVET instructors. All of this is a multi-million-dollar project, and yet this resolution doesn't name a credible, sustaining funding source. Who's paying? Our taxpayers who are already struggling? Or worse, our future generations who'll be burdened by debt for a promise that may or may not deliver? Mr. Speaker, we cannot gamble real people money on a pie-in-the-sky plan. Additionally, our students are already under enormous pressure. In SKNIS, education is compulsory. Our young people are already juggling heavy academic loads. Primary students face national and school-level assessments, while secondary students handle C6 subjects, SBAs, extracurriculars, and the stress of preparing for their futures. Now you're telling them, oh, by the way, you must also take woodwork or auto mechanics? That's not supporting students. That's suffocating them. A good education system lifts students up. It doesn't drown them in requirements. Mr. Speaker, this resolution's faith in this clause actually undermines its credibility as a whole. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And this clause is not just weak, it is broken. If compulsory TVET is such a cornerstone of your vision, but you can't guarantee its delivery, then how can we trust everything else in this resolution? You can't build sustainable island states on shaky promises. No, the opposition does believe in a better way forward. Here's what we propose instead. Expand TVET programs thoughtfully. Let them grow. Don't make them compulsory. Improve existing workshops and resources. Invest where needed, but do it smartly. Don't just declare everything mandatory overnight. Create optional but well-supported technical pathways for students who want TVET. Make it high quality and attractive. Develop real apprenticeships and industry partnerships. Connect the classroom to real jobs, not just for grades. Give our students options, not orders. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I remind this House that skill does not come from force. Skills come from interest, passion, and choice. Forcing TVET upon every student undermines that very principle, and it treats our children like widgets in a factory, not the unique, talented individuals they are. This clause and the broader resolution tied to it shows a stunning disconnect from the realities of our federation, our schools, our budget, and our students. It promises more than it can deliver, burdens more than it empowers, and restricts more than it frees. For these reasons, the opposition stands firmly against this resolution. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
All right. Thank you for your contributions. I now recognize the Honorable Jazara Andrew, Minister of Trade, Commerce and Tourism.
Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, guests, good afternoon. I rise today in strong support of the continued development of the national digital market, a transformative pillar of our government's sustainable island state agenda. This platform is not simply a technological upgrade, it represents a national economic shift that positions St. Kitts and Nevis to lead in an increasingly digital global marketplace. Mr. Speaker, today travelers, consumers, and global citizens are digital first. People decide where to stay, what to eat, where to book, and what to buy online. The national digital market responds directly to this reality. It provides every business, large or small, formal or community-based, with a professional, accessible, 24-hour online storefront. It places farmers in Tabernacle, a crafts maker in Gingerland, and an entrepreneur in Sandy Point on equal footing with the major hotels, established tour operators, and with other global and international businesses. It elevates our national brand and presents our federation as modern, organized, and ready for the future. But beyond visibility, Mr. Speaker, lies one of the most significant benefits: increased visitor spending. Tourism growth is not only about attracting more visitors, it is about also increasing what they spend while they are here. This platform allows travelers to pre-book, prepay tours, cultural experiences, transportations, events, and local products before they even arrive. More importantly, it puts that money directly into the hands of our local entrepreneurs without excessive foreign commissions. This strengthens our families, communities, and small businesses by keeping more tourism dollars circulating right here at home. The national digital market also enhances transparency and quality assurance. Registered vendors must meet minimum standards, ensuring a safe and reliable experience for visitors. Reviews, pricing, service details are clearly displayed. Businesses gain insights to analytics, allowing them to identify strengths and improve where needed. Visitors benefit from confidence that they are booking legitimate, vetted, high-quality local services. This builds trust, strengthens our reputation, and enhances our competitiveness. One of the most powerful features of this initiative, Mr. Speaker, is its integration with global platforms like TripAdvisor, Viator, and Google Travel. When a traveler anywhere in the world searches St. Kitts Tours or Nevis Experiences, our vendors will appear directly in those results, discoverable, bookable, and visible to millions. This expands our reach far beyond our borders and provides unprecedented exposure for even the smallest operators. This platform also opens the door for our youth and creative community. Tourism today is no longer just hotels and beaches. Visitors are seeking culinary experiences, community tours, wellness services, eco-excursions, entertainment, cultural storytelling, and more. Through national digital marketplace, a young person with a phone or a laptop can create, promote, and sell a tourism product without needing a storefront or a large investment. It democratizes opportunity. It turns creativity into income. It transforms ideas into livelihoods. For the first time, Mr. Speaker, we will have access to real-time tourism data about what visitors are booking, where they are booking, and when they are booking. Data is the new oil. And this platform gives us the tools to make evidence-based decisions that strengthen tourism planning, improve visitor experiences, and support businesses in the highest growth areas. Additionally, the National Digital Marketplace elevates community tourism and protects our cultural heritage. Villages, artisans, performers, heritage groups, and local hosts will finally have global visibility. Visitors increasingly seeking authentic, local experiences, and this platform ensures that every community can participate meaningfully in the tourism economy while showcasing our nation's history, creativity, and culture with pride. Mr. Speaker, this is precisely what the Sustainable Island State Agenda envisions: a resilient, inclusive, digitized, future-ready economy that empowers every citizen. Now, Mr. Speaker, members opposite have come with their half-baked arguments to oppose these necessary and timely resolutions at every turn, solely for the sake of holding this government down. So, let me open up the oven door and show them.
Exactly 1 minute to go.
This initiative might not be done, but we're fully making it. Mr. Speaker, I can sit here and talk about the cybersecurity clauses we have in place, the ICT technicians that we have planned, but I just need to tell you I am proud to support this initiative and commend your ever-loyal government for its leadership and foresight. The National Digital Marketplace will transform how our people work, earn, grow, and participate in this modern economy.
This initiative does not just invite tourists to St. Kitts. It brings St. Kitts to the tourists. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Awesome, thank you. All right. We're on the top of the hour, 6 p.m. So let's just keep it the time. Okay. I recognize the Honorable Kerja Stevens.
Mr. Speaker, members of this distinguished House, good afternoon. Today I rise confidently and with clear purpose to address what is undoubtedly the most polished and attention-grabbing clause in this resolution, the proposal of a new digital marketplace. Now, Mr. Speaker, despite near-future critiques, I want the record to show that I love innovation, I love technology, and I love the idea of empowering small businesses. But what I don't love, and what the opposition cannot support, is nice-sounding ideas wrapped in big words, but with no backbone, no plan, and no real understanding of how digital marketing actually works. Mr. Speaker, I'll say it plain. A digital marketplace by itself will not magically make anybody successful. Because selling online is not just, oh, let's build a website and hope people find it. Digital marketing is SEOs, paid ads, social commerce, analytics, product photography, packaging, logistics, payment gateways, and 24/7 customer engagement. A website without marketing is like opening a shop in the middle of the forest and expecting tourists to find it. And that, Mr. Speaker, is exactly what this clause proposes. Let us talk reality, not fantasy, reality. The majority of small business owners in St. Kitts and Nevis and across the Caribbean struggle with high costs for unstable Wi-Fi, inconsistent branding, no packaging standards, no export knowledge, and no understanding of digital analytics. But hear this part, Mr. Speaker. This resolution wants us to throw them into a national marketplace without training, technical support, or marketing budget. So, we're setting them up to fail, but digitally. Honorable Speaker, let's be real with ourselves. This government, which respectfully still has official websites that haven't seen a proper update since about 2018, is now proposing to build and maintain a digital marketplace that can somehow compete with global giants like Amazon, LinkedIn, Shopify, and TikTok Shop. Honorable Speaker, these platforms operate with billion-dollar algorithms, international advertisement networks, AI-driven analytics, and an entire team of engineers working around the clock. But this government educated me to believe that we should build a whole national website for digital marketing when small businesses in St. Kitts and Nevis can't even get verified for TikTok Shop. If they can't access a platform built specifically for small creators, how are we supposed to thrive in a government-built system that won't even have a fraction of that infrastructure? You can't trick me. It better I sell my potatoes on Facebook Marketplace. And to further prove my point, Mr. Speaker, of the level of incompetence on the government's part, type in cisa.gov.kn into your browser and tell me what happens. Honorable Speaker, the same web page that is supposed to act as a guideline to provide the general public with the information this government plans for its people don't even work. And now, the PM come here and say, oh, we ain't got no worries because the dancing start. But Mr. Speaker, I would like to say that the dance don't start and worries are upon us, and she only can't see that because she on petition time.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
This is mindful about your projection of.
I apologize. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. I'm on the floor, Desiree.
And it continues to leave me with questions like, who is marketing it, securing it, maintaining it, and with what budget? What we will end up with is a digital graveyard, a website full of products that nobody outside St. Kitts even sees, and that is not innovation, Mr. Speaker. That is a missed opportunity disguised as advancement. Mr. Speaker, a platform is a tool, an ecosystem is an economy. If our aim is to make SMEs export ready, to create jobs, and to keep talent at home, we must invest in the system that connects people, skills, infrastructure, and markets. Not just build another website. What the opposition is calling for is real digital transformation, not this watered down website in fancy clothes proposal. And if it was up to the opposition, we would have started by listening to what the people who own SMEs have been saying for years and allow free or fiscal concessions on certain items for some of the business to even operate, not just when they start up. Of course with a rubric, but we can't continue to turn a blind eye. But as they say, sorry for Magadad and in turn around bite you. Honorable Speaker, I'll continue to say that a single government-built website will not transform our small businesses. What we need is a full digital ecosystem, an interconnected network of training, tools, payments, logistics, and infrastructure that actually prepares SMEs to compete. This means establishing a digital marketing accelerator where entrepreneurs can access free product photography studios, branding support, TikTok and Meta ad training, and small ad spend grants. That is the foundation that allows a business to stand confidently on any platform, not just the ones that the government builds. Instead of reinventing the wheel, we should be helping our SMEs plug directly into our global marketplaces like Etsy, Shopify, Amazon Handmade, and TikTok Shop, especially when, as I said, many of them can't even complete the onboarding process on those platforms right now.
1 minute.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, no problem. Mr. Speaker, let's be real. This class feels like somebody just said, let's build a big website so we could say we're doing something techy for the headlines. But that is not policy, Mr. Speaker. That is PR. And the people of St. Kitts and Nevis deserve more than PR. Innovation without a foundation is just decoration. But I'll go further to say, Mr. Speaker, innovation without foundation in this federation is why certain governments continue to tell its people, bear with us and be patient. And as I close, Mr. Speaker, I know I had to cut my presentation short, but we cannot preach sustainable island state while practicing unsustainable digital strategy. We cannot propose marketplace without proposing marketing. We cannot propose online selling without fixing online infrastructure. We cannot put small businesses into a global arena without preparing them to compete. The opposition, although they might think different, is not against innovation. We are against ineffective innovation, symbolic innovation, and against innovation that looks good on paper but collapses in reality.
Yes.
Real innovations means building capacity. Real innovation means empowering people with the tools, skills, and support. Real innovation means creating opportunities that last, not websites that collect digital dust.
Thank you, Honorable Member. No, you can you relapse your time now.
Okay.
Yes.
And so, Honorable Speaker, for the sake of small business owners, for the sake of our digital future, and for the sake of even common sense,
yes,
the opposition cannot support this cause, not in this form and not today.
Thank you for your contribution. Yes. All right, I ask members when you're referring to either side to be respectful and not to point out a person or to call them she or he. You refer to them as member, the member opposite or the government minister. So let's be respectful of the person's portfolios. Honorable Patrina, you can proceed.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable House, distinguished guests, good evening. When we woke up this morning, this federation carried the ordinary hopes of ordinary people. A family planning to build their first home, a young person daring to believe they can build a future here in our federation. But Mr. Speaker, those hopes are increasingly threatened not by politics, but by storms that are becoming stronger, faster, and far too familiar. Familiar enough that just now the opposition will start blaming the government for the weather because all they do is blame us for everything. Mr. Speaker, if the opposition had proper solutions, we would have heard them by now. As many of us should know, more than 60% of our people live along the coast in zones that are now exposed to rising seas, flooding, and rapid erosion. Our hurricane seasons are becoming longer, and the Atlantic is producing record-breaking Category 4 and 5 systems at a pace we have never seen before. Mr. Speaker, these are not just scientific observations. They are warnings about the very dangers that our people are facing. And that is why I stand in full support of this resolution, because the Sustainable Island State agenda is not merely a development agenda, it is our survival agenda. Mr. Speaker, we do not need a history book to understand vulnerability. We only need to remember Hurricane Melissa. Melissa became one of the strongest storms ever recorded in our basin. It brought Jamaica to a standstill, billions in damage, families displaced, communities flooded, and national systems overwhelmed. Our government would have sent relief support to Jamaica. And Mr. Speaker, would you believe that some people stand to say that US $100,000, which is 16,080,000 Jamaican dollars, was little bit? Well, Mr. Speaker, I stand here to say, when your neighbor's house is on fire, you do not stand up counting dollars, you run for water. Jamaica is far larger than us. If a nation with their size, resources, and capacity can still be shaken, imagine what a direct hit would mean for St. Kitts and Nevis. Honorable House, this is our reality. Disasters do not need to hit us to hurt us. And that is why resilience cannot be optional. We must be intentional. Mr. Speaker, resilience is cheaper than recovery. Every dollar we invest in preparedness saves $4 to $7 in rebuilding after a disaster. And that is not theory. It is a lived reality of every Caribbean nation that has rebuilt the same roof, the same road, the same coastline multiple times in a single generation. And that is why our approach to resilience must be holistic and not piecemeal. Resilience is a national armor built across 5 essential pillars, which I will break down in this honorable house today. The first pillar is physical resilience. Stronger roofs, elevated house foundations, proper drainage, wind resistance material, and a modernized building code that protects our people from the storms of tomorrow. Physical resilience determines whether families return home in 1 week or remain displaced for months. The second pillar is social resilience, because a country is only resilient as its people. It means having communities trained as first responders, shelters that remain safe and accessible, evacuation plans that are known and practiced. We have seen in Trinidad and Dominica that communities with strong social networks recover faster than those waiting for national relief. The third pillar is economic and financial resilience, because storms do not only destroy infrastructure, they destroy income. Families fall into debt. Businesses closes, recovery becomes more expensive than the disaster itself. And that brings me to my fourth pillar, which is energy resilience. Because when the grid goes down, everything stops. Hospitals, communication, refrigeration, even ChatGPT. Energy resilience means solar-ready homes, battery storage, microgrids, and reduced reliance on imported fuel. In Puerto Rico, community solar systems kept clinics and shelters powered when wider grids collapsed. Barbados, which is a leading example in the region, with residential solar readiness. And that brings me to my fifth point, which is environmental resilience. Nature is our oldest form of protection, and far too often we neglect it. Grenada proved this after Hurricane Ivan, when replanting strategic hillsides significantly reduced flooding and erosion. Mr. Speaker, these 5 pillars are not abstract concepts. They are the foundation of a truly sustainable island state. They are how we stop disasters from becoming national setbacks. This resolution strengthens every one of these pillars, and that is why it deserves this House full support. Mr. Speaker, all afternoon this opposition has been responding to claims that exist only in their imaginations, not in our statements. I have to wonder if they are really listening to what we are presenting in this honorable House. Mr. Speaker, let me be clear. St. Kitts and Nevis is not empty-handed. We are part of several programs which support rapid response and payouts after natural disasters, but these tools only help after the disaster strikes. This year, through a modern Environmental Management Act and a bold land restoration campaign,
1 minute.
across our coastlines and hillsides, the Federation has already begun hardening its foundations, evidence that the CISA is not a promise, but a performance. This resolution strengthens the policies, the buildings, the finances, and the planning that reduce devastation in the first place. So, Mr. Speaker, we stand at a defining moment. Will we continue rebuilding the same vulnerabilities every hurricane season, or will we build a future where homes remain standing, families remain stable, and communities remain secure? This resolution says no more fragile homes, no more fragile futures, no more waiting to learn the hard way. We may be a small island state, but we will be a sustainable island state. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. All right. I recognize the opposition. Honorable Zara Humphrey, constituency 8.
Mr. Speaker, this evening I rise to give my views on the resolution before this Honorable House, calling for the introduction of innovative policies to aid in the development of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Mr. Speaker, we applaud the national strategy initiated by St. Kitts and Nevis to transform the Federation into the world's first fully self-sustaining island state by 2040. While this initiative may be forward-thinking and innovative, it comes with its own set of challenges, which include vulnerability to climate change, limited resources and economies of scale, and issues with infrastructure and waste management. Mr. Speaker, while I can commend the intention of this resolution, I must point out that as it stands, this resolution is flawed and fails to take a holistic view of the surrounding issues and groundwork necessary to facilitate implementation. For the purposes of this presentation, I will be focusing on Clause 5, which speaks to the introduction and enforcement of building codes so that all new buildings are solar-ready and able to withstand weather events. Mr. Speaker, we firmly acknowledge that the Caribbean's vulnerability to hurricanes, storm surges, coastal erosions, and seismic activities underscores the need for strong modern building codes, especially if we are pushing sustainability. One only has to look at the extensive damages caused to the housing stock in Jamaica with the recent passage of Hurricane Melissa. Over 116,000 buildings sustained severe damage, leaving the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, advocating for the shaping of resilient houses and building recovery program. However, Mr. Speaker, while this call for disaster resilience standards is very necessary, we must also recognize that several systematic, economic, and cultural barriers continue to limit effective introduction and enforcement of disaster resilience standards across the region. So while we call for introduction and enforcement, this must be in tandem with several other measures. This call must be a part of a holistic package. What good are disaster resilient building codes if we do not address technical and skill gaps in our federation? Mr. Speaker, it is no secret that we have a shortage of structural engineers, architects, inspectors, and certified contractors trained in modern hurricane and earthquake resistant techniques. Mr. Speaker, with a population of just over 50,000 people, how many structural engineers can we name that are trained in modern hurricane and other extreme weather-resistant techniques? Let me think. 1, maybe 2, not even so much. How many similarly trained or qualified building inspectors do we have? As much as we are trying, our tertiary and vocational training programs are insufficient and inadequate to keep pace with evolving standards. We could barely keep up with yesterday's standards, much less tomorrow's. So tell me, Mr. Speaker, who is going to enforce these requirements? We're putting the cat in front of the horse, if you ask me. Mr. Speaker, we also have to take in account a few other key factors. Cost. The cost of resilient construction, including hurricane-rated windows, reinforced roofing systems, and better foundations, remains astronomically high. A lot of the material required must be imported, and we have little to no control over the high cost that is passed on to the consumer. Just ask the contractors who have to get regular materials from TDC or Hosford's. Low-income households simply cannot afford to be compliant. In fact, many are looking to just have a roof over their heads now. They want to own their own homes today. Secondly, extensive informal construction. Mr. Speaker, a large share of our housing was built without formal permits, especially in rural and hillside communities. Construction in high-risk areas such as floodplains and eroding coasts remains common because of weak land use enforcement and limited options. Just take a look at the homes alongside our coastline that remain occupied. Where is the enforcement to ensure these homes are brought up to code? Which politician dares to force resettlement on our constituents without fear of reprisal in the ballot box? There is no political will to do so. Finally, Mr. Speaker, what about social and cultural challenges? Mr. Speaker, you remember the big song and dance the government made last year just about including climate-smart homes? How many did they say they were going to build again? And how many were actually built? Imagine only two out of 2,400. And they really expect the ordinary person on the street to take them on about introducing and enforcing climate-smart building codes. As the mighty element once said, it's joke they're making. Mr. Speaker, the public perception is that this thing is a joke. Mr. Speaker, one of the members opposite said that my good opposition is coming with half-baked ideas. When they ain't even start to mix these and the flowers. They have big ideas, but no foundation. Further, Mr. Speaker, in St. Kitts and Nevis, I know we love to say we're blessed, because in recent times, we've been spared of any impact of any devastating weather event. Therefore, there's a lower public risk perception and reduced motivation to follow disaster-resilient building codes. There is very limited buying, Mr. Speaker. The truth is, many of our people prioritize speed and affordability over resilience. Traditional construction practices are often in conflict with modern standards. Mr. Speaker, as I said in my opening, we commend the intent of the resolution and we applaud the move towards sustainability by 2040. But the approach must be holistic, and we must put critical elements in place before we can begin enforcement of any proportion of this resolution. As it stands now, Mr. Speaker, the clause which speaks to disaster-resilient building codes being introduced is all gum, not eat. Unless we create the environment to make these actions not only practical, but possible. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
I recognize the Honorable Selina Jeremiah, Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Speaker. Well, good night. Ministers, members opposite, and members of the gallery. Mrs. Speaker, after sitting here, listening to my colleagues on the opposite side, I have to wonder, what exactly has his opposition done for our marine life, our fisheries, and our fisher folk, since they talk about investing in our people through the blue economy? Because from where I stand, Mr. Speaker, the information looking a little thin. Talking about there is no support. Look at our fishermen and our people who are lacking in areas because there is no innovation, which is why we, the government, will ensure this resolution be implemented. So today, I rise to make my contribution to this honorable house, and I intend to speak plainly. We live in a world where oceans are rising, imports are increasing, and our young people are leaving. So the question before us is simple. Will St. Kitts and Nevis continue struggling as a small island state? Or will we secure a stronger, smarter future by fully embracing CISA and the blue economy? Mr. Speaker, the blue economy is not some far-off idea. It is one of the very things that keeps an island alive. Yet for too long, we have placed all our focus on tourism and land-based development while ignoring the ocean that protects most of the land we stand on. Change is happening fast, lightning fast. But here in the Caribbean, we move as though time is ours to waste, and we simply do not have that luxury. When I read this resolution, what stood out to me is that the blue economy offers real leverage, economic leverage, environmental leverage, and social leverage. The World Bank defines it as the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, improved livelihoods, and job creation. And right there in the definition are the very things the opposition seems to overlook: growth, livelihoods, and jobs for our people. CIGI, Center for International Governance Innovation, tells us that sustainable fisheries, aquaculture, and marine tourism build new domestic value chains and reduce our dependency on imports. And we all know how dependent we are here in St. Kitts and Nevis on imported food, imported fuel, imported everything. Small island developing states have limited land but abundant marine space. So investing in our ocean is not optional, it's essential. It is how we create an innovative and resilient economy for our people. Tourism will always matter to us, yes, but diversification is not a luxury, it is a survival business. By protecting coral reefs, clean beaches, and coastal heritage, we strengthen our tourism product while opening new doors such as ecotourism, marine excursions, and cultural coastal tours. That is how you create jobs. That is how communities grow. When the marine environment thrives, the Federation thrives too. Mr. Speaker, allow me to return to the one area where the World Bank is loud and clear. The blue economy is a powerful engine for job creation, especially for our MSMEs, our micro, small, and medium enterprises. The biggest near-term gains come from strengthening value chains in fisheries, tourism services, and renewable energy areas where St. Kitts and Nevis is perfectly positioned to lead. And these are not imaginary careers. These are the careers of the future: marine biologists, ocean engineers, aquaculture specialists, offshore renewable project managers. But we have not created enough pathways for our youth to enter these fields. Then we look surprised when they leave. Mr. Speaker, brain drain is not mystery, it is a consequence. Our youth are not running because they want to leave home, they are running because their opportunities have left before them. But if we invest in training in modern marine programs, in clear pathways to blue economy careers, our people will stay. They will build and they will flourish right here on our shores. Because if you plant the right opportunities, you will harvest the right future. Or to put it Caribbean plain, if you plant corn, you can't expect peas. Let me now turn to technology. Because sustainability is not a slogan for a small island state, it is our survival plan. And technology is a tool that lets us expand our ocean industries without destroying the ecosystems that protects us. We cannot build a 21st century economy with 1980s methods. The world is speeding ahead on jet ski, and if we're not careful, we're still back there paddling canoe. Look at the options available to us today. Floating solar platforms and offshore wind, as highlighted by Irina, offering clean energy from the same sea that surrounds us, aquaculture systems, and digital
1 minute.
traceability that protect our fish stocks and secure our food supply. And yes, Mr. Speaker, the resolution call for solar-ready building codes is a major leap forward. It means every new home, every new hotel, every new business becomes part of our clean energy transition, not in theory, but in practice. And so, Mr. Speaker, when all is said and done, this debate is not about personalities or politics. It is about whether St. Kitts and Nevis will choose progress over stagnation, whether we will lead or lag behind, whether we will prepare for the future or pretend it will never come. We cannot keep doing the same old things and expect a different result. We cannot watch the world change and insist on standing still. And we certainly cannot tell our young people to dream big while offering them nothing big to dream into.
Okay.
So
Please proceed to wrap up.
So let us choose innovation, let us choose resilience, and let us choose CISA. Because when we invest in our ocean, we invest in our economy. When we protect our environment, we protect our future. And when we empower our people, we power our nation forward. Mr. Speaker, the blue economy is our moment, our responsibility, and our opportunity. Let us not miss it. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for your contribution. I recognize the Honorable Michaela Peets. I remind you that you have 7 minutes or less.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues and members in the gallery, I rise today as the final speaker on the opposition bench to bring clarity, reality, and responsibility back into this debate. Mr. Speaker, the resolution before us, a resolution on innovative policies for the development of St. Kitts and Nevis, calls for financial literacy in schools, incentives to reduce brain drain, compulsory technical training, a national digital marketplace, stronger building codes, and support for blue economy startups. All of this sounds admirable on paper, but sounding good and being implementable are two very different things. Mr. Speaker, I must admit, I was shocked to see the great concern of the government shown in regards to the pockets of the citizens of this federation. Because if my memory proves me right, before the current administration, our citizens could say, boy, I'm looking forward to that double salary. But Mr. Speaker, since this administration, the only thing that has been consistently coming in double is bills and stress. And that is just one initiative I have named that was started and stopped. Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Social Development stated, and I quote, "Many citizens no longer want to build homes, they rather rent." But Mr. Speaker, I am not a contractor. But if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Speaker, in order to build a house, you have to have a lot of land to build on. The same land you have to send 100 forms in for. But Mr. Speaker, you see that process is only mandatory for some. Mr. Speaker, this resolution is high on ambition but low on structure. There's no implementation plan, no funding model, no timelines, no responsible ministries, and no legislative pathway. Innovation without implementation is imagination, not policy. Even more concerning, much of what is being proposed is already found within the government's own sustainable island state agenda. Yet the resolution adds no new mechanisms to make any of these ideas workable in the real world. Mr. Speaker, since the topic was brought up, for a moment I would like to discuss the new Bastia High School and the hospital. Mr. Speaker, my older cousin and I are 3 years apart. 1, 2, 3. And Mr. Speaker, I remember when I was in grade 6 and I was saying I can't wait to go into the new fancy and upgraded high school. Mr. Speaker, do you want to know where my cousin and I are now? We are both full-time employees and attending universities. The last update on the new Bastia High School was that the grass needed cutting. And in regards to the hospital, hospital, what I would say to my very dear citizens is to please eat your apples. Mr. Speaker, the government referenced Hurricane Melissa as indirect proof that our federation is in need of this resolution and these policies. But Mr. Speaker, that argument actually strengthens the points of this very opposition and not theirs. Hurricane Melissa showed us that what we lack is not more vague resolutions. What we lack are real enforceable, well-funded disaster strategies. When roofs blow off, when coastal areas are flooded, when communities struggle, it was not because we didn't have any ideas. It was because we didn't have proper implementation, proper inspections, proper resilience planning, or proper enforcement of existing building codes. Hurricane Melissa revealed gaps in execution, not gaps in imagination. And that, Mr. Speaker, is exactly why this resolution fails. It offers concepts without concrete structures needed to actually protect our people. Mr. Speaker, let us speak plainly about one of the biggest issues raised today, brain drain. This resolution, it mentions it, but it does not address the true depth of the crisis. Young nationals are leaving not because they want to abandon the very federation they grew up in, but because they cannot find enough opportunities here to match their skills. We are serious about retaining talent. We must expand and diversify our economy instead of building more hotels. Let's create more hospitality, career pathways, more marine-based industries, more manufacturing, and more modern sectors that create real competitive jobs. People stay where they can build a future. Mr. Speaker, in reading this resolution, I saw none of those futures being created. Mr. Speaker, the proposal for stronger disaster-resilient building codes is noble, but once again vague. How will it be enforced? Who will absorb the cost of compliance? What initiatives will be offered? None of those answers are found here. And finally, Mr. Speaker, the call for blue economy innovation is commendable, but without a clear strategy for sustainable fisheries, marine technology investment, or coastal tourism development, it is simply just another slogan. So, Mr. Speaker, as the last voice on the opposition bench, let me be clear. We are not against innovation. We are not against progress. We are not against development. We are against unclear, unfunded, unstructured resolutions that promise everything and prepare for absolutely nothing. Mr. Speaker, if we are to chart a future worthy of youth of this federation, then we must pass policies that are practical, measurable, and grounded in reality. For in passing these policies, we affect the very people that put us here. This resolution is not that. It is ambition without architecture. It is intention without execution and vision without a vehicle. And Mr. Speaker, in closing, if everything else I said was forgotten due to short attention spans, I would say this. The Bible tells us to spare the rod and spoil the child. And Mr. Speaker, in that same spirit I say today, spare the government and you spoil this great federation. When we refuse to or are too intimidated to hold our leaders accountable, no matter the color they wear/represent, it is the nation that pays the price. If it pleases you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Yes. All right, so we are now at the time of the debate when I invite the Prime Minister to wind up the debate. I remind you that you have 4 minutes, strict 4 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, first let me commend my team for their outstanding work throughout this debate. Now, Mr. Speaker, I must confess, listening to the opposition today was like sugar on the tongue. Some sweet, but when you chew, nothing there. Mr. Speaker, for the most part, all I heard was blame and pointing of fingers. No addition to the resolution in terms of how it can be improved. It's time time for the colleagues opposite to grow up. Imagine I spent over 20 minutes breaking down the resolution, emphasizing its goals, empower our people. Mr. Speaker, a people-centered resolution. This can't be the same people who claim to say they care for the people and they're rejecting the resolution. I couldn't even believe when the member opposite really said he cannot support this substance and asked it to be sent back. To reject this resolution is basically choosing politics over people, and our people deserve better. All afternoon, the opposition has been responding to claims that exist only in their imagination and not in our statements. The members opposite lack the fundamental skill of active listening, and those are the people who are seriously leading the country. No man, it can be. I even found it quite interesting, Mr. Speaker, how the honourable members opposite were going on with all kind of tactics, critiquing, and the list goes on. But if I can recall, when the opposition was in power, they had years to act, yet somehow progress never made the list. Lord, no. Mr. Speaker, the opposition leader stood up like a full court book. Today, plenty talking, plenty quoting, but when you check it, no substance, no solution. Mr. Speaker, our youth and our communities deserve better than an empty opposition. Let us stand together, not just for the sake of debate, but for the future of St. Kitts and Nevis. May it please you, Mr. Speaker.
Excellent. Awesome. So we've heard the debate, and so now we're at the decision time. The question is that the resolution by SKNIS calling for the introduction of innovative policies to aid in the development of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. All those in favor? Aye. All those against? Nay. Ooh. Sounds like the ayes have it. It sounds like the ayes have it. Division. All right. So we'll go straight to a division and allow the clerk, the deputy clerk, to go through the list. Let's do that as quick as possible, please.
Honorable Kayla Penny, what is your vote?
Aye.
Honorable Patrina Pereira, what is your vote?
Aye.
Honorable Kayla Douglas, what is your vote?
Kaleo.
Oh, my bad. Kaleo.
Aye.
Honorable Zarik White, what is your vote?
Aye.
Honorable Caleb Strawn, what is your vote?
Aye.
Honorable Jordan Taylor, what is your vote?
A strong aye.
Honorable Selena Jeremiah, what is your vote?
Aye.
Honorable Josiah Green, what is your vote?
Andrew, sorry, aye.
Josiah Andrew, my apologies. Honorable Zara Brown, what is your vote?
Nay.
Honorable Deshaun Newman, what is your vote?
Nay.
Honorable Courageous Stevens, what is your vote?
Nay.
Honorable Jamal Gums, what is your vote?
Nay.
Honorable Maria Peterson, what is your vote?
Nay.
Honorable Zara Humphrey, what is your vote?
Nay.
And Honorable Michaela Peets, what is your vote?
Nay.
The division. The totals. Sorry? Can't hear you.
The ayes have it.
The ayes have it, okay. Awesome. All right. So, resolution passed. We head straight to the adjournment. Can I have a motion on adjournment, please?
Mr. Chair, I beg to move the motion that this Parliament meeting dated the 25th of November 2025 stand adjourned. Senate aye.
Mr. Chair, I would like to second that motion.
Okay, before we go to vote, I just want to make a statement to thank all of the persons listening online as well as those in the audience on behalf of the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association. We are a 24-year organization that is heading into its 25th anniversary next year, and as you can see, one of our flagship is our Parliament sittings, where we speak on the issues that young people are facing across the Federation. Outside of that, we have several activities that we do. We do fundraisers, like we did our Thanksgiving dinner just a couple of days ago. We have an upcoming activity where we are going out into the community to deliver soup to unprivileged persons across the communities, called SKNIS Shares. And then in December, we are going to do some caroling. We also have done breast cancer awareness. We've partnered with the Turn-On Agenda Group, as well as led a discussion with Special Olympics, the Special Olympics Committee on inclusion. As we continue, I ask the persons listening to follow us, the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association. We're on all of platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of the platforms, and we have plenty of activities that we have upcoming, so we ask you to stay tuned with us. Thank you as well to SKNIS, ZIZ, the members of the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association, especially the planning committee of this event, led by Ms. Fisheries Antoine. The Speaker of the House, Honorable Lanny Blanchett, Trevlin Stapleton, Deputy Clerk, Maria Knight, Deputy Clerk, for allowing us the space. We were here yesterday for practice, so we thank them for allowing us the space and continuing to support the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association. And as I end, I also want to recognize a person that has been here with us since 2020, in the name of D'Angelo Thompson. I hope I said it correctly. He has... every time that we want a sergeant at arms and we go to the cadets, he always volunteers his time, and he's very diligent in terms of doing his duties. So we thank you. We thank you so much for your support to the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association. And hopefully the next time that we are debating, that D'Angelo will be on the benches to debate. Yes, so thank you once again for listening, and stay tuned to what SKNIS has in store. I think that the leader of the opposition, he has a statement. 1 minute for your statement.
Mr. Speaker, with your leave, of course, I stand today as one but proud Vice President. The members today had some awesome presentations, and we have to give them due where it is due. Yeah, and I want to make special notice that SKNIS, this is what SKNIS is about: youth development, developing the young people, coming to this honorable house, coming to in general, from where you was to now speaking so eloquently, so much rich passion, et al. Even one special mention to Jordan Taylor. He wasn't supposed to be debating. I think it's yesterday he figured out that he is debating, and he had one good presentation today. And all the members here, I want to say also that these are the voices of the young people. When we were preparing, we wanted to hear their views. We wanted to hear their thoughts in the legislation. We want to hear what they are coming to the table with. So we ain't tell them must do nothing. So courage talk about, I'm going to say, the Honorable Member for St. Christopher.
Yeah, your minute is elapsing. Just wrap up.
Come in. Talk about SMEs. The Honorable Member for Education, Minister of Education, talk about finance and elevating the young people to be future millionaires. And this is the voice of the young people, what SKNIS is about. I want to share the same sentiments of the Honorable Speaker in thanking Fisheries Antoine, and we are also building leaders. Fisheries Antoine just came into the position of the Parliament Committee Chairperson, and she is leading excellently. And of course, thank you, Sergeant D. Thompson. I think we need to now confer honorable membership on him today, or practical membership for this honorable house. Mr. Speaker, with that,
thank you very much.
I am much obliged.
Thank you. All right, the question is that this honorable house be adjourned, signed by. All those in favor? Aye. All those against? House adjourned.
Should all acquaintance be